Hey there folks, Aaron here. So I just left Alberta Driveline, and as you can see, I got my Jeep back. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning, so excited. So yeah, after the last big trip there with the good trail and all that, I think it was East Fisher Creek, noticed some things didn't feel quite right on the drive home. At first I thought it was just mud and the tires throwing the balance off or something. I ended up actually taking it in for an 84-point inspection at the dealership. They found quite a few things wrong, surprise, surprise. So the total to get them to fix everything was $10,200. Called around a bit. A lot of the work I can do myself, but the big thing was the rear axle. It has an impacted pinion bearing. They recommended a full rebuild, and for them to do that back to factory was $3,600. So called around, shopped around, talked to Alberta Driveline. They came highly recommended by my buddy Andrew. Took my Jeep into them, and so I got, let's see, they rebuilt front and rear axles, all new seals and bearings, re-geared it with, what was that there? Alaskan gears? Yukon gears, 456 gears. And also Eaton e-lockers, front and rear. Full everything was about $5,600. So it's a bit of an ouch, but it's well worth it. Can't wait to get it out on the trail and try it out. They don't wire it up for you. They do all the install, and then they leave the wire connectors just outside the axle. So when I get home, that's going to be my job, is wiring out my switch panel on my dash here. For now, I have to drive it carefully, so what I did was, as soon as I got there, I used my programmer and I programmed it for the new gear ratio. And then I also reset my transmission back to factory, so it starts relearning my driving style over again. And then for the next 20 kilometers, you have to drive it nice and careful while it, starts to learn you. And then after that, I have the break-in period for the new gears, and that's about, I think it's 800 to 1,000 kilometers. I got the papers all here that I have to follow. And after that, I'll be changing out the diff fluid. Oh yeah, that feels good, nice. I'll be changing out the diff fluid, and I'll be checking the magnets for, there'll still be some, metal particulates and stuff from the new gears, but there should be no chunks or large files of metal. So I'll be checking for that. What else is going on? So other things that the dealership found, there is an issue with the steering. They found the steering pump, total internal failure. So right now it's all Armstrong steering. I can deal with that for now. I am looking at upgrading the system. That's going to be a next month thing. And yeah, I had to save up to get this work done. So, and then also the brake boosters shot. So I'm also looking at upgrading that. And eventually down the road, maybe the big brake system. So just kind of train, just rolling along, and the job keeps getting bigger and bigger over time. So, but I'm loving the way the Jeep feels right now. It's handling really good. It almost feels like stock again with the new gear ratio. It's a lot heavier with all the work I've done to it. So, the guys at Alberta Driveline, they were nice enough to get some footage of them doing the work on the Jeep. So I'm going to include that in this video. You'll get to see that. And then I'm also going to be wiring up the new lockers. Hey, so getting started on wiring up the e-lockers I had installed in the diffs. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out which of these switches here goes to, which of these relays go to the switch in the front dash. So I've turned on the dash, or I've turned on the switch. Got this set to volts, DC. That was easy. All right, it's that one. I'm going to wire up the rear diff first, just because it's got the longest run. I'd like to get that out of the way. Comes with a lot of parts. I'm not going to need the switch it comes with. All right, here's the cable. Got our ground, we got our live wire, got relays. Here we got the switch that it comes with, which is Pretty nice lockable rocker switch. Cool. All right, let's get to work. Okay, going to quickly go over the wiring harness here. The main part of the harness. Okay, right here we have our power relay and suppression diode. Okay, the yellow one here goes to the signal circuit. The red one connects to a 15 amp breaker. The black one right here, right, really long one here, goes to a clean ground. Then you follow this all the way down to the end, and that hooks up to your e-locker in the rear diff. All right, and then separately here we have our 15 amp breaker, the manual reset, and this connects to the positive side of the battery, and they all come with lugs and everything as well. Over here we have the switch package. You have a fuse tap, connect to the ignition labeled fuse. Okay. This one here is the signal line, and this one here goes to a ground, and these ones are all labeled really nicely as well. This is the switch. It's pretty nice. Lockable switch. But I've already got one installed that I'm going to use on my dash. A lot of these big wiring harnesses people will put down the passenger side of the Jeep, but I have the relay box here for my switches mounted on the driver's side, so I'm going to be running the wire down the driver's side to the rear diff, and it's going to follow the frame rails underneath. Find a nice spot to put this down. Oh yeah, right down there. When I ran the wiring for my let's see, trailer brake control, I actually ran it inside the frame rails. I thought about doing that with this one, but then I realized I may end up welding onto the frame rails in the future, and then I have to remove all that wiring, which would be a lot harder to take out of the frame rail instead of just cutting some zap straps and taking it off the side. So this one here, I am going to just follow some lines already heading down, zap strap them to the bundle, and show you as we go. So where I'm running the wire to, it's going right down past the air compressor, down between the master cylinder or brake booster and the fender. Comes straight down, comes out the bottom here, and I'm going to run it all along down to the rear diff. So much mud on the underside of my Jeep. Oh, you know what? Safety glasses. Oh. One thing you want to make sure you never do is run a line underneath, cross over the underside of your rails here, because if you bottom out or you hit something, you're just going to crush that. Try to keep them on top, or on top and inside of the rail. Problem is I got the exhaust here, so I got to make sure I stay on this side of the heat shroud. Okay, so at the top up here, hopefully you can see that. There's where the wires come out. They've drilled a hole in the diff, they've sealed it, it's got a new cover on it. And then the two wires just stick out, and this is what it looks like after an install. So you just got to put the cap on there and attach it to your wiring harness. Alright, so I've been trying to figure out which one of these leads goes to A and B. They're both the same color, there's no markings on them. So looking through the wiring schematics, I found that before the Delphi connector, there is a suppression device with a diode in it. So I'm really hoping that means it doesn't matter which one you hook it up to. So I'm going to try it in one direction. I'll mark the lines, And when I go to test it, if it doesn't work, well, then I guess I got it backwards. Either way, I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, let's try doing this again. Slide them in there. There we go. Slide seal all the way in so you get a good seat. There we go. Those look like they're well seated. Not coming out. Connecting. That's it. It's connected. Okay. Before I go zap strapping everything up and making it all secure, I'm going to finish wiring it up in the front to make sure this all works first. So something I just realized, took a minute. This whole switch panel right here for the Auxbeam, this whole relay set, it's already hooked up to a 20 amp fuse tap. So there's going to be no power to this unless I turn on the key to the power source. So the line that would go to the fuse tap, I'm just going to hook up to the power going into this so that it only has power when the ignition's on. Let's see. Now, whenever I press the button on the Auxbeam over here, I can feel the relay clicking. So I'm pretty sure it's working. Okay. Wait till it's done beeping, see if I can hear anything. Well, there's no magic smoke coming out, so that's a good start. Yeah, down that way. Good. I can feel both relays working. Alright, let's clean this up. Everything all tidied up and put away. Hey, so just finished wiring up the e-lockers, front and rear. Took it for a little test drive around the block here. Really nice and slow. Tried a 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, turning the lockers on and off, one at a time, both at a time, and yeah, it worked really good. Everything's working as it should. When you take a corner really sharp, really slow when you're testing it out, you can feel the outside tire kind of being dragged around. And that's because you don't have that limited slip anymore now that both sides are locked right up. If you have any questions or comments, things I could have done differently, please post them down below. I hope this was a helpful video. Yeah, subscribe, like, bell, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, see you guys on the trail.